who is trying to break into the golf game. Speaking of the golf, so that'll be pretty cool. I'll get a chance to look at some of this stuff for the first time here in just a little bit when we get to that point. We will talk to some of the folks out at Crestview about how the weekend's been going, talk to the tournament folks about how the weekend's been going, what to expect here as we come into day 2 and day 3 and 4 this weekend. We were both out here. We stayed and partied. We shut her down yesterday.
We did.
A little ragged yesterday, a little ragged today. Nothing crazy, but a little hot, a little steamy.
It was brutally hot yesterday. Not going to be quite as hot today.
They have these towels, and they get them soaking wet in ice water, and you put them on your neck, and honestly, it's like an air conditioner. So for me, like, my body is taking the heat like it should, but my brain is like, it's not that bad.
Yeah, it wasn't like oppressive where you couldn't be out in it.
I agree.
But when you're out all day long, it does start to wear on you. We talked about that yesterday as far as the golf is concerned and the endurance that it takes for these golfers to be able to complete 4 days in the heat. Today and the rest of the weekend, not going to be quite as hot and humid as yesterday was. Yesterday, by far the worst day. Be a little cooler today, which is good. And then, as the weekend rolls on, they'll be able to manage it, I think. But if you're coming out today, if you're coming out this weekend, while we say it's not going to be as hot as yesterday, make no mistake, it's still going to be pretty
Drink
warm.
some water, you'll be fine. Like, I sometimes I like when colleges cancel for cold weather and things. It's like, guys, put on a jacket and you'll be fine. Just like out here, drink some water, wear your sunscreen, you'll be fine. Yesterday was the hottest it will be, by the way. It won't be that bad the rest of the time. I feel like I've been to this tournament a million times, Tommy, and it's been hotter than it was yesterday. So all good. We survived the hot day. Everything else will be good. A little breeze kind of playing in. We're watching 18. I almost just hold that chip, which was impressive. But we'll get you updated on all of that. We're out here having fun. You can also leave your comments on our video stream, which Zeb Campbell has done a phenomenal job with. If you are looking at that and what it normally is, we've got a couple of cameras set up here. It's really, really cool. You can tune into that either on Facebook, on YouTube, on X. We've both got that reposted to our personal pages. You can find it real easy. Just search for KFH on any of those platforms. And you can leave us comments there. We get to those comments on the air. We will be able to see them, maybe a little slower than we normally would, but we'll get them. So you have lots of different ways to communicate with the show. We'll have giveaways for you today. We'll give away some HTO iced tea and coffee. We will give away some tickets to the fan zone out here, which is incredible. Look, we know that a lot of people are hesitant because the U.S. Open is happening. Well, over in this fan zone where we've been giving away tickets, and congratulations to the winners of those, by the way. A couple of them said hi yesterday to us. They've got a huge truck with a screen on it. And so you're not going to miss the U.S. Open. Like, it's right there. You can watch the U.S. Open and come out and enjoy the festivities here, which is pretty cool. We're kind of facing right now the entrance gate. And it looks like there's plenty of people coming through here early this morning, Tommy. And we know that, Friday's sort of legendary as the party day, right? Everybody gets off work. 17's going to be wild today. It was pretty wild yesterday. It was great. Friday's the party day. You hear the stories about Fridays. And so we expect quite the party out there again today.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Yesterday on 17, the very first hole-in-one, I believe, ever in the history of the Wichita Open on number 17. So that was exciting to watch. One thing I like about the fan zone, you mentioned, right behind us is the fan zone. What I like about it is that I'm sure that there are folks out there that, say, you know what, I'm just not really a golf fan. I don't know if I'd ever really want to go to a golf tournament. This is a party.
Yeah.
And, they've got a live DJ and the music is loud and they've got beer trailers and tequila tastings and, all of it. You mentioned the huge video board with the U.S. Open. So even if you're like, I don't know if I'm a golf fan, and you think of that perception of a stuffy, quiet, soft golf clap tournament, that's not what the fan zone is. So if you're looking to have a fun party atmosphere today or into this weekend, the fan zone's where it's at.
It's funny. My wife yesterday, we were walking, and she didn't care about golf at all, like zero. And she loves this event. We're walking up from 17 to 18. She's like, oh, do we need to be quiet? And I'm like, I can hear the music play. I
think you're okay.
I think we're good.
I think you're fine.
Don't blow an air horn or anything, but
right.
But let's not overthink this. All right, so we will get to more of the Open as we make our way through. Lots of fun guests today. Let's start and get to some of the other things. Really, just sort of on our list, Tommy, so we have time for them. And we'll start with the Royals. Look, they get it done yesterday. They walk it off against the Yankees. They save from being swept. So a lot of good things. Alec Marsh, that's 2 in a row for him. 2 in a row, really good starts. And that's exactly what they had to have for this to not unravel on them. The Guardians did not play yesterday, so you gained a half game. And here we go. Now you got the Dodgers, who are struggling slightly. They lost a series to Texas. Who knows? Maybe they can go take 2 or 3 out in LA. And then everything's all good when we get to the end of this. Walk-off wins. Again, this thing that they have where they don't let up in a game is not going away. We see it now almost every time they take the field. And then here we go again. They walk it off. They almost blew an incredible start from Marsh. And they didn't do it because they won't roll over in the 9th, in the 8th, 9th, whatever. And that's something that has staying power, and it matters.
Well, as long as they're able to keep it within striking distance and a manageable deficit, then they do have those opportunities to come back and win ball games. And I don't know what the mood was like in the locker room, in the clubhouse after the game, but you've got to imagine the amount of pressure on the shoulders of that Royals team, considering how things had gone for the first 3 games in the Yankee series, considering how bad it had gotten, and knowing what was in front of them this weekend. That was a must win. And there were a couple different times where it looked unlikely for them. They were able to walk it off and be able to, not waste that masterful start from Alec Marsh.
But even as bad as it was getting for the week in that one individual series, like the one thing I think about this group is they don't care. Like that it doesn't phase them.
Right.
And that matters because you're going to get it from Salvi, but other than Salvi, you're looking at a lot of young players, right? Like it's not and so you don't know if that's going to happen. Like the mental, I don't know, fortitude of it. It's tangible with this group. Are they going to have enough talent to get there in the end? Who knows? But I don't think they're ever going to be afraid of what lies ahead of them. It would be really easy to be afraid of being swept at home and falling, what would it be, 6 games behind the Guardians before you got to hit the road and get out to LA to take on the Dodgers. But I really don't think they care, like at all, one way or the other too, on the other end of it also. You know what I mean? Like their highs aren't too high, their lows aren't too low, and they just kind of do their thing. And that's why if you've got a team that can hang late in the game, if you're the opposition right now and you've only got like a 1-run lead or you're going into a tie game going into the 7th, they know how good the Royals have been late in the game. And I think that stuff matters in baseball. Baseball's a mental game.
It's going to matter in October.
Well, sure, if they can get there. It's really all about if they can get there. Alec Marsh doing what he did yesterday would help. So that is now I don't know. It's really just 1, so we'll see. Before that, he had given up 4, 5 runs in his last 3, and that's sort of the stretch. But he was respectable enough to get through those moments. I think he's probably got staying power. He's hard to predict because we had no expectation for him going into the year. But I do think we've seen enough now that it's fair to be optimistic.
You're going to get those starts from him where there's a blow-up game.
Sure.
But then you're also going to get starts like what we saw yesterday.
Yeah.
And I think that was one of the major concerns going into the finale of this series against the Yankees was it's been a bad series so far. And here comes Alec Marsh, and you never know what you're going to get.
Yeah.
And credit to him, because I can, again, imagine the pressure on his shoulders, knowing that they've got to try to salvage this series. And he pitched a great game. And I don't know, I didn't go game by game so far this season, but that's got to be maybe the best start he's had, or maybe second or third. It's got to be in the top 3, I would think.
It's his best.
As far as what
his opener was good, but 7 innings, 1 hit, 7 strikeouts,
sure.
no walks, I don't think. That's, you ain't going to beat that, but it's put a body of work together that through a bunch of innings, he's got a 3.60 ERA.
Mhm.
And if that, we'll see how it goes. But it's been really, really good. All right, we're going to take a break. We have lots of different things that we've got to bring to you from the Open today. Let's set up our first hour text giveaway contest. We'll switch it up from yesterday. And we'll do HTO first. So you can get iced tea and coffee from HTO. More than 25 flavors of that tea. It's available to you Wichita West, Wichita East, and in Derby. All you got to do is text the short code 20357 and simply put the word tea, TEA, to 20357. We'll introduce that for our first hour. We'll give away some tickets out to the Fan Zone in the second hour, so stay tuned for your opportunity to win those. It is Sports Daily. It's Albrecht and Caster live from the Wichita Open at Crestview Country Club. We will be right back.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With more than 25 flavors, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day for half-price cups of tea. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy. We have more than 25 flavors. Come try them all for free.
Open, everybody. Jacob Albrock, Tommy Castor. This is Sports Daily, and we are glad to be with you today. We want to say thank you to Prairie Fire Coffee for keeping us fueled up each and every morning, not only here at KFH, but all over the Odyssey studios. Appreciate their support of the program. Appreciate all the support of everybody on the program, including Crestview Country Club, who is hosting this event this weekend. More on that in just a little bit. One of the folks joining us now, Katie Winters, and Katie, you might recognize as an awesome golfer, but now Katie has a really cool golf apparel company, 3570 Golf Co. We got some stuff here. I didn't
pull mine out. There we
go. Hat
there
off
we go. Look
to,
at that.
to the camera there. Really cool. First, Katie, well, welcome into Sports Daily. How are you? How does this happen? Now, you're a great golfer, but how do you become the owner of an apparel company? How do you even, learn how to do that?
Yeah, so my husband's worked in the golf business his entire career, and so when we first started dating, we always, kind of threw ideas around about running a golf shop, and kind of always figured it would be like in the country club space with him as a head pro somewhere or something like that. And a couple years ago, started seeing some head cover designs that I thought were really cool, and kind of immediately had ideas for some Wichita and Kansas head covers. And so that was our first product. We launched those last year, and I mean, literally just emailed a supplier and said, hey, here's some icons we think would be really cool. Here's a design. Would you be willing to work with us? And they were. And
wow.
So little by little, kind of one product at a time, here we are.
How did those designs work? I mean, do you and your husband sit down and, sketch things out, draw what you're looking for and all of that?
Yeah. So we've got everything from things that we've sketched out to, maybe we've found images on Canva or Adobe Stock and like licensed an image from someone to, literally, hey, here's an idea. Can you go find something?
Yeah.
And, so there's been a variety.
So you've got the wheat here on the side. Obviously, yes. It is a tie to here. It is a tie to this specific region, which is why people probably will get way into this. How important was it for you guys? I mean, you've been a very successful golfer. Now, is your husband a golfer?
Yes.
Okay. You guys have both been successful, I assume, to tie it here, to make this the thing that makes it special about what your company is.
Yeah. So everything we're doing is Midwest themed. One night we were just like, man, we love all the printed polos. Like, for instance, what you're wearing right now, it's covered in flowers. Like, that's awesome. And we thought, man, there's nothing out there that is Midwest themed. We could never find something like that with wheat stalks all over it, right, or corn or, kind of Midwest themed things, even outside of agriculture, airplanes, right, that kind of thing. So just had some design ideas and started putting them on paper, putting them on the computer and bringing them to life. Everything
from obviously hats, shirts, head covers. You mentioned, what other kinds of apparel and products do you guys offer?
Yeah, right now we have some hoodies.
Okay.
So we'll be bringing in some more hoodie colors for fall as well. And then we have some golf towels. And that's really it right now.
Okay, cool.
We're focused on expanding the polo and hoodie offering at this point.
The polo is the game. I mean, golf polos are comfortable. I mean, we need one, I think, for Sports Daily. You can put,
if we could have, we should have like the official Sports Daily,
right,
3570 collaboration.
That's right.
Yes.
Wouldn't that be cool? Yeah.
Both of our mugs, I don't know, imaged all over.
Probably wouldn't sell.
Yeah. Well, that is, I suppose, the goal of things is to actually be able to sell the shirt. But yeah, no, that's the kind of thing where it seems like there's a market for you guys, right? Like, there's all these great businesses. There's all these people out here. There's just, everybody's looking for shirts for their stuff. Now, if somebody had something and had an idea, do you guys like try to collaborate with people and do stuff like that? Like, if we're like, hey, we need a Sports Daily shirt, could we come to you with that? And then, does that make any sense?
Yes. Yep. So we can do a variety of custom options as well. So we'll kind of always have the, 3570 kind of core collection of polos.
Yeah.
And then, we have opportunities in the custom space as
I love that. So I know you're from the Wichita area, And I feel like in the last, gosh, I don't know, 10 plus years or so, you've seen this influx of Wichita flag merchandise, right?
Yes.
Like that's been a huge deal. Have you noticed that outside of the Wichita flag, have you noticed people really embracing having apparel that they can wear that shows off not just Wichita, but this entire region?
Absolutely. I think there's just a ton of pride across the Midwest.
Mhm.
So, for our cities in particular, and then states that we're from, and just living in the Midwest in general. So, that was a cool opportunity, and just happy to share and showcase the Midwest and Midwest golf.
For sure.
Let's talk a little golf. So you've got an amateur championship twice here in the state of Kansas. You played at Arkansas and you played at KU. When you and your husband go play, what's that experience like? Competitive?
It's always a good match.
Yeah.
Yep. There's a healthy amount of smack talk.
Yes,
I'm sure.
That's what I'm getting at here. See, I'm not a very good golfer, but I'm a great trash talker. And so, that's a part of the strategy. I just need to know that my wife and I can't play things together because we're not nice to each other when we do. So I want everybody else to also experience that.
Yeah, so we play together all the time. We love to play golf together. He teaches and does club fitting at Sticks 96 Golf.
Oh, cool.
Up on North Greenwich, and so he's been my golf instructor since we've been together.
That's cool.
And so he's we have a blast playing golf together, and fortunate to have that relationship and
Sure.
be able to enjoy playing together too.
We were talking before we came on the air about this tournament, and specifically Sam Stevens. This is his home course, hometown kid, obviously the highest ranked world golfer in the field this week. He's 4 under right now, tees off this afternoon. You grew up here, from Andover. I'm sure you've played this North course thousands of times.
Yep.
In the same way that Sam has. When you're playing this course, and I know that you have competed on this course for the women's amateur, what does that course familiarity mean? How important is that? What kind of advantage does that give? And especially talking about as Sam is playing this afternoon and trying to be in contention this weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. So, first and foremost, no matter where you're playing, you've still got to hit the shots.
Mm-hmm.
Just because you've played a course a million times, you've still got to hit good shots on that given day for the conditions. But I think the biggest thing is the conditions. So having experience with the wind out here, especially on some spots in the front nine where it can really start to swirl, kind of on some of the lower areas of the golf course, being able to kind of really have a good feel for where you are, what direction the prevailing wind is going, and being able to kind of block out that swirling wind and say, yep, this is the number and I trust it and I've hit this 1,000 times and let's go. So
yeah, that's cool. There was a golfer, Brandon Crick, shot 8 under, shot a 62 yesterday.
awesome.
So we know that year after year there are always going to be golfers that can go low on this golf course round by round. A lot lower than what my personal best on the North course is. That's for sure.
Can you go 4 times though? I think
that's the question.
Typically the winner is who can go 4 times. And so we'll see. And, we've got Sam Stevens to watch out here. Right behind us on the cameras, we've got the golfers coming from finishing 18 back over if they started on the back 9 today. So I'm just kind of just watching the, the vibe over there and how everybody's doing. But it'll be good. We'll get Stevens out later this afternoon, and we'll have all that. All right, Katie, before we let you go, how can people check out all the cool stuff you guys have?
Yeah, so our website, www.35x70golfco.com. We've got a big presence on Instagram as well. And then my personal Twitter, Katie Winters 42. I guess it's X now.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It's cool. It's been a lot of fun to watch your brand grow, and we're excited to have you on. Thank you for the hat. Remind me, what's the mascot? What's your mascot's name?
His name's Ozzy.
Ozzy.
So it's a buffalo for state animal of Kansas, and
love it.
His name's Ozzy.
Got a T toothpick. I love it. American flag. Again, that's 35x70, just kind of like 35 by 70 there. Golfco.com. Check all this cool stuff out. We'll get you some design ideas for the Sports Daily Polo.
Love it.
And we'll do this again soon. Katie, we appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you guys so much.
Katie Winters, owner of that company, great golfer here in the state of Kansas, out here enjoying the Open. We'll be back here. I believe we're going to talk to some of the folks at Crestview about what you can get into when you come out here. So we'll do that next as we continue our coverage live from the Wichita Open. It is Sports Daily. It's all Brockton Caster. We will be coming right back.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With more than 25 flavors, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day for half-price cups of tea. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say, drink tea, be happy. We have more than 25 flavors. Come try them all for free.
Pastor here. It is a packed house now as we bring in some of our friends over from Crestview Country Club, which is where we are currently. The longtime host of this event. It is the perfect facility for this event. We know that you guys are insanely busy, so we appreciate that. Dane Brummett is who we'll start with. Dane is the GM out here, whipping around on that golf cart. You got a club, you got this tournament. How's the week going?
The week is going great. It takes a really high activity, high energy club and really gets that super boost on there. But it's a great week. We love it here. It is
a blast. You know what, when you guys look at this and hosting this, it is just a massive undertaking. I mean, they're building out here for so long. Why is this so important, and why does this partnership work so well for Crestview?
Well, I think the credit really needs to go to Dusty and Kelly and Jacob and Seth with the full-time year-round Wichita Open staff. They're the ones who are focusing on this, 12 months out of the year. So we get to really start focusing on it about 2 to 3 months out, and just trying to help them make sure that they're making this the best event it can possibly be. But that's really where the relationship is.
And it is. And we joke about this all the time, and we'll get to Bill on, some of the things that folks can do out here. But like, my family's back there behind the camera. They just walked over. They've been at the pool this morning. My wife will probably play tennis. We have, we partied out here all day and then buzzed in for a sandwich last night. Like, it is so much more than golf, because I'm a terrible golfer. I probably use golf the least, but like, it is all of it is right here and on display. How cool is it to get to show all these thousands and thousands of people coming in for the tournament what Crestview is all about?
Yeah, that's one of the great things about it being at Crestview, is that we are still a full functioning country club during that. Usually if a club is hosting an event like this, they have one course, it's completely shut down. The membership basically has very limited access, maybe a little bit of special access, but we still have a fully functioning dining room. We have the South course, which is playable the entire time. The pool stays open, tennis stays open. So we are full bore, even though we have this, amazing event going on.
Our listeners, Dane, they hear us talking about Crestview all the time on our show. And I don't know if we've ever actually talked about it on the show before, but your family, Jacob, you guys were members, and my family, we were members out here before we even knew each other, before we even started doing this radio show together. So independently from any of this, your family discovered the amenities out here. My family discovered the amenities out here. And it's just the community that is out here, and just all, like you mentioned, all of the different opportunities and things like that are out here. What have you seen during your time here at Crestview of families being involved in an atmosphere like Crestview? Because I think that there's been over the years a perception of, a country club, like that's probably not something that's accessible. Right. But there's a lot of young families and a lot of people that just want to come out here and have a good time, and it's not that stuffy, stodgy kind of atmosphere.
Right. So the nice thing about Crestview is it is extremely family friendly. Spencer and the program that we do for our youth camps and our youth nights out and all of those kinds of things. Our swim team is the biggest in town, as far as I know. So just catering to families, making sure that it is a place that, you have some of the retired people who really just want to play golf every day. And you have families who are just fitting us into their very busy schedule and trying to make this a community. That's one of the really, really cool things about Crestview.
It is the biggest swim team. My kids are on it.
Yeah.
After that, we go to the meets.
Yeah.
Bill, so here's the other thing I think that gets missed out on some of this. Bill Brungart, who does the memberships regionally for not just Crestview, but a family of clubs, which we'll get to in a minute. It's, if you don't play a ton of golf, there's still ways to do this, right? Like, it's not the same, at least to me and my limited knowledge of a country, it's not the same thing. There are different levels of this for people to do whatever it is that they're wanting to do.
Definitely. The unique thing here is we have something for everybody. If you're not a very avid golfer, you're just breaking into the game. Having those two courses, having a course that's, open to 9 holes for family play, slower play, basic learning the game, is something that Crestview can offer that no other club in this area can. We're the only private club in Kansas with 36 holes. So the access to golf, the ability to make tee times for the avid golfers, for the weekend hacks, for your casual family golfers, definitely something for everybody. And for the non-golfers, we've got social memberships. We've got tennis memberships available. So we've got one of the best tennis facilities in the area, 10 tennis courts, 4 are indoors. If you've not seen it, you've got to get out here and check that out. If you are around today and you're checking out this tournament, which is absolutely amazing, please come by and see either me and Bailey. We're both inside there. We'd love to show you around, give you a tour, show what we're all about. But we are definitely a full service facility in the area. You know, we welcome all types of members. We're very, very easygoing, very casual, and got something to offer to everybody. So,
and I think that to your point on that, you mentioned people coming out, being able to take a look at not just the areas where people will congregate for this tournament, but get a chance to look at the clubhouse and tennis and all of that. Have you guys noticed when this tournament happens that there are a lot of people that want to get a really good look at the entire course and the entire club and everything that Crestview has to offer?
Definitely. I mean, this brings so much attention to the club. And I think the big misconception is country clubs, very, very pricey, very expensive. We've done a great job of offering lots of different levels to get all different types of, memberships into this club. For the junior golfers, for some of the younger families, I've been there, starting out, building houses, having kids, it can be very expensive. We've made our junior memberships very, very affordable, so we can get you in the door right now. And then, of course, again, something for everybody there. So a beautiful swimming pool, beautiful fitness center, beautiful tennis complex, something to offer everybody.
Yeah, I mean, I've said this to Tommy a million times, like I'm a farm kid. Like whenever I'm like, guys, I don't know. It's just not really like, that ain't gonna be my thing. And then we grew into it like immediately. And for us, it is to what Tommy talked about. Like we have found more fun in the fellowship with other people, with other friends, being at the pool in the summertime. That for us was it. And yeah, I mean, the price matters, and it mattered for us. And there's lots of different ways to do it. That's what I've liked about it too. And I've heard it some places you can get a letter in the mail that says you owe all this money at the end of the year, no matter what. We don't have that here, which is good.
Definitely. Yes. No assessments at any time. All the money being spent at Crestview, which are many projects going on right now, many in the store in the future. If you've not been out here in a while, definitely come check us out. We got a whole new facelift outside. I'm getting ready to do, some wonderful work on the golf courses, getting ready to do some wonderful work at the pool. So the neat thing with being at Crestview is you don't have to worry about those assessments at the end of the year. We do tons of things to help you out. No long-term commitments. We just want to provide you with the best experience possible. And if for some reason it's not working out, or it's just, not the right category for you, we've got other options for you to help out. So,
Dane, I've got one more question for you about this tournament and this week specifically here at Crestview. I think Jacob and I like to consider ourselves on a daily basis on this show ambassadors for Crestview Country Club. But there are a lot of members that are involved in this tournament that they want to be ambassadors for the club, for the tournament, for the players. You've got members that are hosting players in their homes.
Absolutely.
You've got members that are volunteering out here that are, walking around with the scoreboards, and you've got people that are marshals that are doing all sorts of things. How cool is that to know that you've got a member base at this club that they're so passionate, not only about this tournament, but about the club, and they want to show it off to everybody and leave the best impression.
Yeah, that really is one of the most amazing things about this, is how much support we get from the membership. I just talked to a member who's been hosting the same player in this event for the last 20 years.
Oh my gosh.
Which it's too bad that he hasn't moved on to that next level.
Sure. Yeah.
But at the same time, it shows that commitment. There are a lot of people who build lifelong relationships with the caddies and the players and the tournament staff. It's really, really cool to see. And we constantly get emails saying, hey, how can I help? How can I make the event better? How can I be a part of it? So that's something you don't see everywhere. And the Crestview community has really embraced this event.
All right, so get a look here. You saw Bill. If you're watching our video stream, that's Bailey. If you see either of them when you come out, just ask them. They'll show you around. They're happy to do that. Check it out. You can see what we talk about all the time. We really do enjoy it. We don't just say that. We do mean it. Out here at Crestview, they're the host of this great event, which we enjoy so much, and I think the community does as well. So the golf will be good. Come out, say hi. You can check out the stuff, and you may never get a better look. But, yeah, look for Bailey. Look for Bill, who you just saw. And they'll take you around and show you what we're talking about. Guys, thank you. Enjoy the weekend.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, guys.
Stay hydrated and stay cool. All right. We'll keep it here, I think, here for just a second, Tommy, as we've got just a couple minutes before we have to take it. This is a lot of golf. And you came at this, and this has like the 36 holes for you as a golfer is a big deal, a bigger deal. Could you imagine playing as often as you play? I mean, have you ever played just to the open golf, 4 rounds, walking it 4 days in a row? And could you, like, the endurance that these golfers out here right now have to show is wild.
No, I mean, have you looked at me? Have you looked at my body type you think I could walk 4 days of golf in 99-degree heat? Absolutely not. I don't have that kind of endurance, but it is a testament to how these guys are athletes and how they are, they work that whole process. They train for it constantly. And so, no, to answer your question, no, I could not do that.
We bring in Dusty Buell again, who is the tournament director. We were talking about the facility, but let's talk about the tournament, Dusty. I'll hand you this. So round 1 in the books, all good, right? Like we survived the hot day, if you want to call it that, but now we're good. Nice breeze today, these golfers. How's it playing out there? Like what did we learn after day 1?
We learned on 17 that hole played harder than I've seen it play since I've been here. I think the wind had a huge factor in a lot of what was going on yesterday and where that wind was coming from. So it's good to get this course and see it a little more challenging. It's not often that you're in day 1 and those kind of mid single digits. So I'm excited about what today's going to hold. We could see some big numbers.
Yeah, Brandon Crick comes out and shoots 8 under 62, and he was the day 1 leader. And so, of course, the course playing difficult, but you've always got a couple of guys that tend to go low. On a day like today and then getting into the weekend, do you anticipate the course playing similar to the way it played yesterday? Do you think that if the wind keeps up that it will still be challenging in those ways?
Yeah, when we talked to the meteorologist here from the PGA, he said that wind isn't going to be a factor today really until after 5. Okay. So you get off in these morning groups and these mid-afternoon groups, and I think you're going to be okay on the course. And so, after 5, it may get a little more challenging. So it's just kind of that luck of the draw.
Let's guess at the score. What do you think it's going to be this year? So we saw 8 yesterday. I don't think it's going to be 32 under. What do you think it's going to take to win this thing this year, knowing that the conditions will be pretty good the rest of the way?
I think we're going to be looking at probably between 25 and 26, somewhere in that range to win this tournament.
Okay. Today, Friday, is legendary. We've been talking about it on the show all morning about how people love coming out, especially on 17, to kick off a weekend. People taking off work early and want to get out here. They want to have fun. What are you guys anticipating as far as the crowd today and just the atmosphere?
I think we're going to ratchet it up a few knots. It's going to be amped down on 17. We're completely sold out today. And I mean, today and tomorrow, I don't think you're going to see many empty seats down on 17. And it's going to, I mean, somebody puts in a hole in one today, and you're going to hear it in Andover.
Yeah, absolutely.
So 17s, but what about the party zone, the fan zone here? I assume there is availability for today.
Yeah, there's always availability in the fan zone.
Okay.
We really want those spectators out here, walking the grounds, seeing more of Crestview than just 18 or just 17, because it's a beautiful golf course, and we want our community to come out here and know that we're kind of a hidden gem, and maybe they haven't walked this course before.
We talk about it too. We just, we talk about 17, 18, how much fun this area is, but people can just get tickets and come walk with the golfers, right? Like the whole thing is open. We talk a lot about this area, but there are fans spread out all over the north course of Crestview just to watch the golf.
Yeah, absolutely. And we welcome as many fans as want to come out and, do it before the sun gets too scorching today. I know that we're going to lose about 10 degrees, which everybody's happy about. But I think that makes way for even more exciting 17th hole. Go out and watch some of these holes where they're clearing the water, where amateurs likely are not going to hit that ball, and just see their mindset and how they're playing and what that really looks like.
It'll be a mental grind. The heat, I said that, like, it's been hotter. The weather's actually beautiful for Wichita Open. So come out, check it out. Lots of availability to get there. Dusty, we'll say the same thing. Hang in there.
Hey, thank you very much.
We're getting close.
I'm looking forward to today and leading us into this weekend.
You'll see Dusty buzzing around as well here at the Wichita Open. So catch him, say hi. He has been that staff. I don't think people understand that either, Tommy, as we're getting ready to take a break going into hour number 2. This is a full year job.
Absolutely.
For the Open folks. Like, they do this for a calendar year.
Yep.
And then it sort of ends with this.
They may take a couple of days off
Yeah.
after this weekend, but then they're right back into it with the ambassadors and the sponsorships and, all of that. It's a huge undertaking, and Dusty's done a phenomenal job in the couple of years that he's been running this tournament. Of course, Roy Turner, who's a Wichita sports legend, retired a couple of years ago. He did a great job with this tournament for so many years, and Dusty hasn't missed a beat taking it over. And, we have the luxury of talking for a living,
Right.
Standing here and just,
Right.
shooting the crap. Dusty puts the microphone down and he's off.
Yeah,
I don't
he's
even know
out.
he's
He's
gone. I don't
gone
even know where
already.
he's at now.
Yeah.
He was on the phone.
On to the
already.
next
So,
thing.
it's a tough job, and he's doing a great job at it.
Yeah, it's a great crew. They've got cool, just different things. There's all kinds of different companies and businesses out here showing off their cool stuff, and just make your way out if you can this weekend. It's so much fun, and the golf I think is going to be great, and I think it's going to be even better than normal because we're going to have a local player, Sam Stevens. We'll see what he does today, but I anticipate him being really, really good in it. It's going to be great. All right, so coming up in our second hour, we want to remind you of our giveaway here that we've got going in the first hour. In the second hour, we're going to give away some tickets to the Fan Zone behind us. In this hour, it is our HTO giveaway, tea and coffee. All you got to do is text the keyword T, TEA, to short code 20357. That's T to short code 20357. We open up in the second hour, so the IHOP hotline is back open for you at 869-1240. That is that number that you can get in touch with us. You can also leave your comments on our video stream. Just search for KFH there on Facebook, on YouTube, and on X. That's all available for you as well. We'll get to those. We've got more talk coming. We will get into the Trevor Lawrence quarterback contract. Holy smokes. And more things in the sports world. More Royals talk coming. How about a look at the U.S. Open, which is happening right now? It's all coming in hour number 2. It's Albrecht and Castor. We are live at the Wichita Open out at Crestview Country Club. This is Sports Daily. Don't go away.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With more than 25 flavors, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite, or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day for half-price cups of tea. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say, drink tea, be happy. We have more than 25 flavors. Come try them all for free.
Now, from Wichita's most listened to sports radio, 97.5 and 1240 KFH. This is Sports Daily with Jacob Albrecht and Tommy Kester.
Every shot, every goal, ESPN Bet has fans covered for the biggest moments on the road to the championship. The exclusive sportsbook of ESPN is the only place to find special offers and promotions from your favorite ESPN shows and personalities throughout the playoffs. New users can get a bet reset up to $1,000 in bonus bets if your first bet doesn't win. Download ESPN Bet today. What a play. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER in partnership with Hollywood Casino at Kansas Speedway. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Welcome back in, everybody. Hour number 2 of Sports Daily here. Albrecht and Caster live at the Wichita Open. Been having a lot of fun over the last 2 days here. An hour with you here. Maybe a little more partying. I know you'll be out here throughout the day today. I'm going to try to sneak back out later this afternoon. So if you see either one of us, say hi. We're glad to see everybody out here. We had a lot of guests there at the end of the first hour. So a lot of golf talk, a lot of open talk, and we're pretty wide open the rest of the way to get to a couple of these other topics. We mentioned ESPN Bet, Tommy. You could bet the Corn Ferry. Like, you could bet this event. You kind of had to do it before. I think Sam Stevens is, of the 3 bets I made, my best shot here. And he is, what was he by the 4 strokes off yesterday? Yeah, he's in the later groups today. And so we'll watch him, see if he can score it a little bit out here and make some noise. And get into the weekend. If he gets into the weekend and he's in the mix, I do think we're going to have an experience out here, probably unlike any we've had, Tommy, to have that. His gallery was big yesterday. Can't imagine what it will be like today. And then if he's in contention and folks don't have work on a Thursday or Friday, now we're into the weekend, his gallery is going to be massive.
Without a doubt. You've got, obviously, the U.S. Open going on this weekend. You've got Father's Day on Sunday. You've got the local connection. To your point, that hasn't happened before at this level. I know there have been local golfers that have played in the Wichita Open over the years, but none the stature of Sam Stevens. And, I think what's so remarkable about what he's been able to do in his career is the number of years that he tried to qualify for the Wichita Open, wasn't able to ever qualify, wasn't able to ever get in and play in this tournament. He did play in the Corn Ferry Tour for a couple of seasons before, maybe just one season before he got his PGA Tour card. So he never played in the Wichita Open, bypassed this tournament, went right to the PGA Tour, and he's had a tremendous amount of success, even this season, 2 top 10 finishes, and able to come back here and play in this tournament for the very first time. I agree with you, and I mentioned this yesterday. If he's able to find his way into contention after today, you get him in maybe not even the final round, but the next to last, or the final grouping, the next to last grouping, or somewhere towards the end, then he's going to be able to, I think, have that little bit of advantage because he's been in that situation.
We know this tournament is all about putting 4 rounds together. And I know, and that's a cliche in golf. That's not what I mean. But I mean, in this tournament particularly, you have to score big in 4 rounds.
Yeah.
It's almost a prerequisite, is you got to put 4 big rounds together, not just one incredible round and then maybe have 1 round off. Like, if you're not scoring all 4, you're probably not gonna have a chance. I just feel like he has the best chance to do that. Mentioned an ESPN bet. So I'm looking, what happened to Scotty Scheffler yesterday? I don't recall ever seeing Scotty Scheffler 16-1 after an opening round. So that's where that is. If you're looking at those bets, Rory McIlroy is a 3-1 favorite right now. But you've got Xander Schauffele up there in the betting favorites, Bryson DeChambeau, Patrick Cantlay. Then you get to Scheffler, Koepka, Morikawa. So for the U.S. Open, it's kind of what you want, right? You got some names up there, but as Scheffler has become the biggest story in golf, what happened to him yesterday? Does he even have a chance at this thing?
Well, I mean, typically I would say yes, and he is the best golfer in the world currently. But the one thing that you don't take into account is how difficult Pinehurst is, how difficult the U.S. Open is. And so if you don't jump out with an under par round in your very first round, then it makes it difficult, I think, to be able to come back from that. That being said, though, if anybody can do that, it's going to be Scotty Scheffler. So at 16-1, that's not bad odds for the number 1 golfer in the world to be able to get to go low again. And I think that he's going to have to do that today. And I know that he, I don't know if he has teed off yet today or not, if he's on the golf course. I haven't checked. But regardless, he's got to be able to go lower today, because what Scotty Scheffler does best in the final round or even on moving day is not make any mistakes. He doesn't have to do anything remarkable. He just doesn't make mistakes and let everybody else fall off.
Is that enough, though?
In a U.S. Open at Pinehurst, yes, if he has the lead, or if he is,
if
he goes low today,
I mean,
then he can do that this weekend.
In his circumstance now, though,
no,
he can't.
He can't just kind of sit back and play, good golf. He's got to go out and try
let
to
everybody
shoot for
else screw
birdies.
up. Got
Exactly.
it. Okay. So that's happening. That's the betting lines there. And then the other betting thing, I think, before we get into some of the other things out there in the sports world, is the NBA Finals. The Mavs at home are getting points tonight. Now they're down 3-0. I think that's probably an opportunity to take the Mavericks. This has been an interesting series. They're outmatched. That part has become clear in Mavs Celtics. They are outmatched. We thought that was possible going in, but you got lightning in a bottle with 2 of the best players in the world with Luka and Kyrie. Who knows? But you had a good game out of Kyrie, and it still wasn't enough, right? They're clearly, Boston is really, 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 really good. Can Dallas win a game here? I mean, if you think they don't get swept, they're getting, you're getting plus 1.5 or plus money. Well, no, I guess it's right at minus 110 to take them on the money line. I think they can get a game. I think they can get a game tonight.
No, they're going to get swept.
You think so?
Yeah, they'll lose tonight. If they were going to win a game, it would have been game 3. If they were going to win one.
Yeah.
Because the Celtics let them back in. They cut the lead down.
That's true.
Late in the game.
Yeah.
Because the Celtics at one point just kind of was like they forgot that they were as good as they were, and it was this massive lead at halftime, and Mavs come back, and Celtics are not playing their best basketball in the third quarter. If that was going to be the chance for the Mavs to capitalize, it would have been right there, and they still lost that game. So I think they lose tonight as well.
I do think they can get one. I would take them tonight, but I see your point, and I just think the Mavs, it's hard to imagine those 2 players getting totally run out of the gym, and they didn't get run out of the gym on game 2 or game 3. They didn't game 1.
But the problem is, as great as Luka is and as great as Kyrie is, who else do you have?
It's crystal.
It's been those two and
it
nobody
is
else.
crystal clear on the floor that Boston is a better roster.
Mhm.
I mean, there is just no doubt about it, and that's fine. Boston has been building to this for 3, 4, 5 years now, whereas Dallas, and I know they made a Western Conference final, and I think that just speaks to how good Luka is, but this is a lot newer to Dallas, and they're going to have to, see if they can. And it really comes down to Kyrie, I think, this iteration. It's disappointing because you wanted them to have a chance, and they just haven't. But you can get them plus 1.5 at minus 125, or you just take them on the money line at minus 110. It's probably the better way to go if you just think the Mavericks can get a game in this series. Here's the one that really caught my interest yesterday, Tommy, is we're out here and just a little less plugged in than we would be normally to everything else. Trevor Lawrence got a big contract, and we knew that was coming for him. He's an interesting one because I thought he took a step back last year. It's just like, I know we're handing out money to quarterbacks like it's no problem. Did Trevor, if you're the Jags and you think about this, $55 million, other than the dumb contract Deshaun Watson signed, resets the market on guaranteed money. He basically reset the quarterback market, which happens all the time. Are you good with that? Has he shown you enough?
What other option do they have, though?
Not let him play out and through his player option?
Yeah, but then
what's he going to do? Hold out?
Right, but what I'm saying is that what other long-term solution do they have, even after that?
But they don't have to make that. That's what I don't understand. Like
I think they do. I think in this world of quarterback-driven teams in the NFL, you've got to, take home the girl that you brought to the dance, right? You kind of have to commit to that long term. And when you're a guy that, Trevor Lawrence was so highly touted and the Jags are taking him, first in the draft and all of that, like you are pot committed. You are pot committed to Trevor Lawrence.
But why do you have to be pot committed a year early? You know what I mean? Like, he's not going to hold out. Or do you think he's going to get more expensive? Because I don't. We've already seen the big contract. Joe Burrow got his, Justin Herbert got his. And I think there's a difference in these players. I would tell you that I look at this like, can this quarterback win a Super Bowl? Can Joe Burrow win a Super Bowl? Of course he can. Can Justin Herbert? I would say pretty decent chance. Certainly a better chance through what we've seen so far out of their careers than Trevor Lawrence. It's what makes the Deshaun Watson contract ridiculous, because he wasn't doing anything at that point. I just don't know why there was a rushed situation for Lawrence. Maybe they thought the market was just going to get that much higher, and they're saving money by doing this because they knew they were going to have to do it anyway. But with Burrow and Herbert already paid, like, who else has to be paid? Lawrence is kind of sitting there by himself in this next grouping. CJ Stroud's not there yet. He'd be the other guy. I mean, what other young quarterback hasn't been paid yet? They've all been paid.
Yeah.
Lawrence was kind of there's no market against him.
I think the only difference in all of this, and the reason why I'm probably okay with the Jags making this move with him, is if you had already identified maybe a future plan, if you were thinking about maybe going elsewhere, if you evaluated maybe next year's draft, or if you knew that there was going to be a free agent quarterback that you could try to sign, or and maybe be able to decline Trevor Lawrence's option and then go and it's a player option, though, that he would opt into, right?
Yeah.
But regardless of all of that, I think that if they had identified maybe like future plans that didn't include Trevor Lawrence, then you could sort of hold back and wait. But at this point, it's like maybe they haven't identified anybody else that they feel like they want to be their quarterback.
Trevor Lawrence is going to be their quarterback. Yeah. That's not what I mean. Like, he has shown enough to be their quarterback. There's no doubt about that. Like, he needs to be their quarterback. My thought is, though, you didn't have to pay him that now. Make him come out and earn it.
Yeah.
Because if he falters again, now you've got a real contract negotiation. Maybe he's not a $55 million a year quarterback. Maybe he's a $45 million a year quarterback, because we've seen that happen too. It's not like we always joke like they're all going to reset the market. Well, Kyler Murray, maybe he doesn't reset the market, right? We see the sort of the mid tier also, where it's a ton of money, but it's not a new market setter. And to me, it just comes down to, is Lawrence the player right now deserving of a contract atop Burrow and Herbert, who are the two most recent. And you can't really compare it to anybody past that, right? Because the market goes up every year. I would say no. And I like Trevor Lawrence. I still think his upside's high. I still think he's their quarterback, and I think he has a chance to be good. I just don't know if he has a chance to be as good as we thought when he first came in.
He's already taken the Jaguars, though, further than they were before he came to town. And he's provided stability at the quarterback position for a franchise that really hadn't had quarterback longevity or quarterback security for a number of years. And so I get why the Jags are like, look, that's been a big Achilles heel of ours for a long time in our franchise's history. Like, can you name other franchise quarterbacks that the Jacksonville Jaguars have had?
Mark Brunell.
Like franchise long-term. David Gerard was there for
Blake Bortles had some good years there.
They've had big swings and misses over the years at the quarterback position. So I get their thought of, look, like we want to commit. We feel like he is our quarterback of the future. We feel like he can take us to a Super Bowl. Did they overpay him in this particular round? Maybe.
I think they jumped the gun.
But would you rather, if you are the general manager of the Jags, would you rather pay Trevor Lawrence, $10 million more than you would have had you waited a year and have him be really good? Or would you rather trade off like a $10 million discount with Trevor Lawrence regressing? Because I think if he
regresses, then I don't want to pay him.
But that's my point, though. Is like, what's the trade-off there? Like, are you hoping that he regresses so you can wait for a discount and pay him less?
Absolutely not.
Or do you just get it out of the way and pay him now? I'm fine with that.
I think you hold your cards close to the vest and make him earn it. Look, Joe Burrow, if you just look at the number, first off, Joe Burrow's played 4 years. Justin Herbert's played 4 years. Trevor Lawrence has played 3. I think they were a year too early on this. I don't think they had to do this. There was nothing out there. And look, again, we were out here yesterday when this happened. So I have not closely followed and listened to analysts on the contract breakdown itself. My point is, it's too early. It's not even an indictment on Lawrence, because I think Lawrence has a chance to still be pretty good. He's not going to be as good as we thought he was. I don't think. They brought in players to help him, and it just isn't taking off like some of these other guys. But all these other quarterbacks have been paid after year 4. Why pay him after year 3? Like, I would have paid Burrow after year 3. I would have paid Mahomes after year 3. Like, the no doubt about it, can't miss, like this is going to work out and be great. But I just don't think Lawrence has been that. So why did they do this a year earlier than everybody else does this, when he, of that group, that tier, that upper tier in the NFL, is nowhere near the top of it, right? Like, if we're off the top of our head, and we don't have computers in front of us because we're out here having fun, but I can tell you right now that on the field, I obviously take Mahomes, Allen, Hurts, Burrow, Herbert for sure over Lawrence, right? And then you go down. Okay, I would take CJ Stroud over him. Okay, I would take Dak Prescott even over him right now, based on what they've done on the field. It's not even comparable.
I don't know. I mean,
Dak's Prescott's numbers they dwarf Trevor Lawrence. Tommy has never thrown more than 25
I don't know if
touchdowns.
I'm arguing Dak Prescott as much as I am CJ Stroud. I like CJ Stroud. I was an advocate for CJ Stroud. We've got 1 year of CJ Stroud.
What did we have after 1 year of Trevor Lawrence? 21 touchdowns and 14 interceptions.
I'm not comparing them from their year 1. What I'm saying is that, is there the possibility that Stroud regresses in year 2?
Sure there is.
Yeah. So I don't know if I'm going to jump on.
But Lawrence hasn't
that.
even gotten to a point where he can regress. He just hasn't been good enough. And I don't know, like, if we're power ranking quarterbacks, Lawrence is at best middle of the pack in this league right now, at best. And you jump the gun over what the market has been for everybody else to go, not only reset the market, but do it a year earlier than what needs to be done. I don't know why there was this urgency with him to go get this done now. The only thing that I have, and again, I'm ignorant to this part, is there some belief across the league that this is a better cap situation thing, because he could easily command more money if the cap goes way up? That's the one part of this that would make me, retract all of this.
Or maybe it's a situation too, like this year coming into it and after next year, where if they're giving him a new deal, it's restructured to a point to where that maybe does free up some money to be able
It's
to go
guaranteed
elsewhere.
money though.
But in the way it's distributed out, maybe that does free up a little bit of money for other
Chiefs
other
fans,
priorities.
just celebrate every day that Patrick Mahomes is willing to do deals the way he's willing to do deals. Patrick Mahomes now would probably be the fifth, sixth highest paid quarterback in the NFL. And if he really wanted to, he could come reset the market every year probably. And the Chiefs would just say, okay, fine, we'll do it. But if we're looking at guaranteed money, I mean, you've got Lawrence, you've still got Watson at the top. Now Lawrence, Burrow, Herbert, all more guaranteed money than Mahomes. And I think that was, Mahomes went $1 higher. But it just in a league where you have to have the quarterback, it almost is like every time this happens, it's this reminder of what golden goose the Chiefs have. I mean, it's incredible because other teams are having to pay Trevor Lawrence more than what you're having to pay Patrick Mahomes. That is a wild thing to think about. And it doesn't necessarily happen as much off the top of my head in other sports, right? Like Shohei Ohtani got this record-setting deal. Aaron Judge got this big deal. But it's not like
there's not a cap,
But what I'm saying
you have
is
to work within that.
They're
in the
not
NFL.
compared against like timing. It's more like those players are actually that much better. And yeah, the contracts move up, but you don't see mid-tier players resetting the market in baseball like you do in football. You probably see it in basketball.
There's not a singular position in
It's
baseball or in basketball or whatever that is as essential as the quarterback is in the NFL. I mean, a mid-tier quarterback in the NFL, even if they're mediocre, is still more valuable than a defensive lineman. Doesn't mean a defensive lineman's not valuable.
I agree.
It's all relative.
I agree.
But even a mediocre quarterback is going to garner more value than every other position out on the field.
Well, let me look at the Jared Goff contract that he did this offseason, because I would say like Lawrence deserves to be in that range more than and it's not a tremendous amount less. It looks like we got 4 years, $212 million, $170 guaranteed, but that's almost $50 million less guaranteed on that deal. Don't you think that's more in line with what Lawrence is? It just comes down to, do you think Trevor Lawrence is a Super Bowl winning quarterback? And I just don't think we've seen that yet. And so to jump the gun on give him in his contract is pretty wild. Right. I mean, that's a wild thing to think about.
Yeah, and really that's where that money comes in. That's why that contract was made. That's where the guaranteed dollars come into play, locking him in long term. If they didn't think that he was still a Super Bowl caliber winning quarterback, they don't do this deal.
He's got a lot of pressure on him.
They don't do this deal.
He's got a lot of pressure on him. Where would you put the Jags right now? You're not putting him ahead of the Chiefs. You're not putting him ahead of the Ravens. You're not putting him ahead of, maybe the Bills, probably not the Texans. You're not putting him ahead of, are you putting him ahead of Cleveland right now? Like, where do they even slot in?
It starts at the division level, right? Like, I think that they're better than the Titans. The Titans are going to be in rebuilding mode. Yep. You've got a new head coach. Derrick Henry's gone. So they're going to be ahead of the Titans, I think. The Colts are a question mark because Anthony Richardson, before he got injured, looked really good. He was probably early in the season the best rookie quarterback out of the entire class. But how does he come back from injury and all of that, and what does that look like? So that's a question mark. I think really the main competition for them in the AFC South is obviously the Texans. I think the Texans are, from what they showed last year, a more complete team, and they're better. They should be even better this coming season than they were last year. You had Steph Diggs. You've got more reinforcements there, while still retaining obviously CJ Stroud, and then the dynamic defensive players. Like, they're going to be a force to be reckoned with.
I want to get to the Texans because I looked a lot of this up and had some fun with them and Stroud specifically. But I'm looking now at the highest paid quarterback list, and Lawrence will go to the top. So for an individual season, right? So let's not consider age for just a second. Just next season, what quarterbacks would I take ahead of Lawrence? And I like Lawrence. That's why I hate even having this conversation. Like, I do like Lawrence. I think they just did this too early is the point of everything for me. But I'm going to take Burrow. I'm going to take Herbert. I'm going to take Goff, Jackson, Hurts, Watson, no. So I'm just going down the list of names. Cousins, yes. Mahomes, yes. Allen, yes. Dak, yes. And then I get to where I'd probably start looking. I'd probably take Jordan Love in an individual season at this point over Lawrence. Like, that's how far down you go for me. Like, based on what we've seen, he's never thrown more than 25 touchdowns. His passer rating's never been over 100. Like, I think this upside we're all remembering from college is crashing into reality a little bit, that Trevor Lawrence's ceiling might be an average to a maybe slightly above average NFL quarterback.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I mean, I think that especially, and you mentioned Jordan Love and how, that from what he's been able to do and grow in his career, the jury was out on him for a long time. I think his upside, maybe you put him alongside CJ Stroud as far as upside is concerned. But I mean, there are a couple of quarterbacks out there that, and I think Love is one of them for sure, that they've got that ability.
He's got to get paid too.
To get that money and to go the next level.
But I'd rather pay Love right now than I'd rather pay Lawrence. I'll tell you that.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
If you made me pay, well, that I would really.
The body
have
of
to
work
think
is
about,
still,
I'm gonna have to think about that for a minute, but it's close, and I don't think the Packers are rushing to do that deal. They're not. I don't think the Packers are going to give Jordan Love $55 million a year right now, like Lawrence just got. I think we're just remembering that Lawrence was a number one pick and this great college player. I just don't think he's proved it enough, especially to get the contract a year early. We got some breaking news on K-State basketball. I'm going to look into that. And the thing, and we'll see if we get time on this, but just to set it up in case we don't on Stroud, go look at these great quarterbacks that we're talking about in the NFL and what they did in their second seasons, and envisioning a Stroud step forward and a Texan step forward is not hard to do.
Yeah.
Go look at the great quarterbacks we look at in this league right now in their second full year of starters and go see what they've done, because they all, like, we're talking Super Bowl appearances, championship game appearances. Like, it's wild. Stroud could take that step, and Houston is asleep. They're the 9th odds-on favorite, Tommy, to win the Super Bowl. If I'm not betting the Chiefs to win the Super Bowl, which I am,
I like that.
That's probably my next favorite bet, because it's just like that. There's no way. Well, there is a way. He comes back down, but I think there's a much better chance they take a step forward. And if you think that's too much for a second-year quarterback to bite off, I'm telling you, go look. Mahomes, Burrow, both in Super Bowls, Hurts in a Super Bowl. Like, it's wild what those guys did in their second year. All right. We do have K-State basketball breaking news. It's a big one. So give us a minute. We're going to take that in. We're going to digest that a little bit. We'll tell you what's going on and what it means as we make our way back here live to the Wichita Open. Let's go ahead and get our second text giveaway contest set up too. So 20357 is the number. Right now, you can text the keyword golf. This will be our last opportunity to win here. Keyword golf to 20357. Good luck, everybody. That gets you into the fan zone behind us here. It's a party, one of the many out here at the Wichita Open. Again, 20357, keyword golf. We'll come back a little K-State hoops when we return on Sports Daily.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With more than 25 flavors, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite, or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day for half-price cups of tea. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say, drink tea, be happy. have more than 25 flavors. Come try them all for free.
Jacob Albrock, Tommy Castor. It is Sports Daily. Been having a lot of fun out here the last couple of days, probably setting ourselves up for a tradition, I would imagine, in what we're doing. Tommy, I would guess that we'll be back here next year. No,
I hope so.
No commitments. It's been a lot of fun.
I don't think you and I have done anything, offensive that would remove us from future consideration.
Zeb probably has.
Unless you were, around us late in the day after indulging in some of the
festivities,
the beverages that they had here. But
no, Zeb might have offended people, but don't hold it against him.
Zeb offends people on the daily.
Yeah.
Constant. I'm offended right now just with him sitting next to me.
I know, we're a little embarrassed.
Yeah.
That's Zeb's finger. No, for real, Zeb has a beautiful setup on our video stream and has been set up for the last couple of days. We appreciate all that hard work greatly. And you should check it out on that video stream if you're listening. Even if you've got to go back and look at it later, look at the last couple of days on here. You can find that stream on Facebook, on YouTube, and on Twitter. We will continue to roll forward here, Tommy, as we get some breaking news in the break. So it's Shams reporting that, and it's interesting that it's Shams reporting this now, and I'll get to that in a second, but it's Shams, the great NBA reporter, reporting that Coleman Hawkins, who is at Illinois, a transfer, is headed to K-State for a record-breaking, what is believed to be a record-breaking NIL deal, about $2 million. I think there's a bunch of reasons why that could happen, why it would happen late in the game, why it would be so big now. Probably the biggest is they just have some money left over, I would guess, at K-State. That would be the only thing I could really guess with any sort of conviction. And they're willing to, do it and make it happen. So good on K-State for having the resources to do it. I think that's, to me, the biggest takeaway out of all of this, more than the player, more than what the player can do, more than anything else, is that they had the resources to do something like this. It's fascinating to me that NBA report, because there's like people mentioned that brokered the deal. It's interesting to me, Tommy, that we're seeing guys who, get a lot of information and forge and maintain relationships with agents, doing these deals now for college, I think is noteworthy.
The first thought that I had when I read this was, I think that there might actually be an advantage to maybe waiting longer in the portal if you're a player. And it's kind of like playing the stock market, like, buy low, sell high kind of situation. You never really know.
Yep.
But there was this huge influx of players and the deals and whatever as soon as the portal opened, and then teams were reaching out, and you had to kind of figure the NIL potential of all of that and ramifications. Then it really quieted down for a while, and we get every once in a while another player committing somewhere else. But it got to the point to where Coleman Hawkins was the best remaining player available, and there was clearly a need from Kansas State. They clearly had money left over because there were several swings and misses from the Wildcats on some of their top targets. They had, I guess, had money left over, and I don't know if it's a use it or lose it situation. I don't exactly know how that works.
I would guess that
so.
It's
like, let's just go and dump a bunch of money on this guy because we've got it ready to go. And, and he waited late enough into the period, and he was able to take advantage of that.
I would guess that it is use it or lose it. To some degree. Otherwise, I don't think you would have seen a deal like this. So you've got Coleman Hawkins. And look, at Illinois, 12.6 rebounds a game. He's a senior. He's got experience. The addition will certainly help K-State. That's not it at all. It's just, I think you're right. The timing on it is fascinating. The reporting on it is fascinating. The dollars themselves are fascinating if they're correct. The fact that information is out there so publicly by a source like that is fascinating. It tells me that the shock value to some people of NIL is wearing off a little bit. I think 2 or 3 years ago, none of the interested parties would have wanted any information like that out there publicly. None of them would. But now, hey, look, there's skin in the game probably for these reps. Mm-hmm. I got to boast let me get with Shams and put my name to it, because now these other players are going to know what I'm getting done. And, that whole thing appears to now be a part of this, which is really interesting.
Yeah.
But for K-State in basketball, it's football school. But for basketball now, a roster that I fully had, expectations of like top 4, top 5 in the Big 12. Now, I don't know how much this increases that ceiling, but I think it absolutely increases the floor. I mean, they have a dang good roster coming in.
It shuts the door, I think, on Arthur Kaluma returning officially.
Sure.
I think he's long gone at this point. And I haven't looked at the social media discourse, and I'm sure that there's a lot of it going on right now with this announcement. And I'm sure people are saying Coleman Hawkins is not worth $2 million.
Sure.
And what you look at his stats at Illinois, and you're going to pay him $2 million, blah, blah, blah. But it's all relative. It's relative based on the market. And that's what this whole NIL situation brings in, is it brings in the free market. It brings in schools having budgets to compensate players through NIL and the collectives and all of that. And then it's Coleman Hawkins playing that market. And is he worth $2 million in NIL from a top down ranking of top college basketball players in America? Probably not.
21st ranked by 24/7.
Is he worth $2 million based on, at this moment, who was left in the portal? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely he was.
24/7 has him as the 21st best portal player. Now, that's pretty dang good.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's pretty high. But it's 21st. It is time. I mean, timing is everything, and need is everything. And like we look at this and just I am the shock value for me is that K-State's in that range. Because if K-State's in that range, they're in any range.
I'm not shocked by that. And the reason I'm not shocked by
that they're the team that set the record.
I'm not because again, it's relative based on the situation. At the very beginning of the transfer portal window opening and teams going out and getting players, is K-State going to drop $2 million on anybody? No. But it was almost like you're playing poker and you're going all in. You've got the chips and you're just like, we have no other targets left. We're going to go all in on this guy. We have one scholarship spot available. We have all this money left over. And there were probably, I don't know the exact number, 3, 4, 5, somewhere around there players, if you'll recall, that were top tier transfer targets that they missed out on, that they wanted badly.
Yes.
They tried to get and didn't make it happen. They had probably allocated a certain amount of NIL dollars for each one of those guys. Well, now they've still got it in the bank. He's the top rated transfer left. They have one roster spot ready to go. I guarantee you that there weren't a lot of other schools out there that not maybe they didn't have the desire to pay $2 million. They didn't have the $2 million
Right.
left after they went out and got the guys that they wanted. So it doesn't surprise me one bit that the Wildcats had that kind of money to be able to spend on Coleman Hawkins, and that if it is a use it or lose it situation, that they, weren't just like, well, let's go ahead and make that offer.
So just looking at their class now, he joins Onyenso, a 7-foot big, Achor, 6'9" big, Bayfall, 6'11" big. They have a ton of size. I mean, they could run at any point 2 to 3 guys 6'9" and up. They didn't attack as aggressively. They brought in Jones. They brought in Housen. I don't know what to expect out of CJ Jones. I mean, when you look at some of the other, and they got Doug McDaniel.
That's
He's the big
cream
one
of the crop.
But now the question becomes clearly and it's just so funny because, a month ago we would have said the opposite, right? Not enough depth down low, but now they have more of that. And then it becomes a question of, do they have enough at guard? Are McDaniel, Housen, Jones, and some of the younger players going to be enough? I think the answer to that is probably yes. I look at an opportunity. There can't be a happier person in the world right now than Doug McDaniel to have made that choice and now see what everything else has come around, because they're going to still need somebody to take shots.
He made that choice too.
I know,
when there was so much uncertainty on this roster.
It's just tons.
Yep.
And so I think he's a big winner here because, and really all the early guards are big winners because the opportunity for them doesn't dwindle at all. I mean, Gasson is still in that mix of bigs too. You're talking about a rotation here that could be deep. They could be, I mean, again, it's hard for me to do. We'd really need a college basketball analyst for this kind of proclamation, but it feels a little UConn-y to me, like very deep, ton of athleticism.
It's a bold claim.
Come at you hard. I don't mean that they are on the same tier. That's not what I'm saying. Just trying to think of it. Think of it stylistically. Yeah, maybe. And UConn was a really good offense. So, but it's about like when you have, and KU will have this to some degree, I think, in a different way this year, because we just know more about KU. But they will be able to be fresh and bang and do all of these things and go hard. Like if most of these guys, even if it's just most work out, they have a chance to be defensively pretty difficult to deal with.
I remember, I think it was a week ago, we had Tim Fitzgerald on. Remember him mentioning that the whole goal when you're bringing in players is to have, at least for this season, good enough players to compete against Hunter Dickinson in the post.
Yep.
Like that's the priority. Is you're going to play KU twice. It's not just about KU, obviously, but Hunter Dickinson is the gold standard of bigs in the Big 12, in the country for that matter.
Yep.
And so if you can have a complement of players, and it's probably not just going to be one of those guys, probably not just going to be Achor or Bayfall. It's going to be several players.
They're going to come hard.
They're going to come hard at Hunter Dickinson. And that's the whole goal, I think, when you're competing against a guy of that caliber.
I love this. I can't wait to see when things settle in and people get some idea, and these writers who do follow the other teams and can guess at these things. I want to know what the coaches think. Like, I want to see what the overall thought is about this roster, because I am so intrigued by it. Now, the key to me to all of it is the guards are going to have to score. Like, they are going to have to be shot makers. Housen is a shot maker. I don't know where he fits in the grand scheme, but I do know he's a shot maker. We know Doug McDaniel is a creator, right, and can be a shot maker for sure. And then I think that's why they brought in CJ Jones, is be a shot maker. But they're going to have their opportunities. If those guys can just be good collectively, I think this team has a chance to be really good.
It wasn't that long ago, 3, 4, 5 weeks ago, that I don't know about you, I was significantly concerned about the makeup of the roster for Kansas State
before they started to get all the bigs.
Before they started to bring in, and because there were a lot of swings and misses on some of the top targets that were out there. And now I'm looking at it and I'm like, this team is probably going to be really good in the Big 12 next year.
Is it the Big 12? That's the That's the great
We're going to
question.
always call it the Big 12.
We're going to talk. We're going to talk about that after the break. So
Yeah, I don't care.
there's this idea floating around about generating revenue for the Big 12. We'll get into it. Don't forget, we are live at the Wichita Open, and you have a chance to win some tickets to the fan zone out here by texting the keyword golf to 20357. That's golf to 20357. Your chance to win some prizes. We'll talk about this idea in the Big 12 to generate a little revenue and what we think about it when we return. Sports Daily, live from the Wichita Open. It's Paul Brockton Caster. We'll be right back.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With more than 25 flavors, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day for half-price cups of tea. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy. We have more than 25 flavors. Come try them all for free.
Master. Glad to be with you from out here. Glad that you've been able to take us in over the air on our video stream. Again, thanks to Zeb for setting us up with all of that. Looks fantastic out here. Weather's great today. Should be a great weekend. We're hoping Sam Stevens hangs in and makes it an even more exciting weekend than it already always is. All right, Tommy, we were talking about K-State and made a little joke there, the Big 12. So I guess the idea now is that you basically sell the naming rights to the conference. The Big 12 would be the first, it sounds like, to bite this off. And then, of course, everybody would follow if they do it. For me, honestly, if that revenue goes back to the schools, I got no issue with this. They got to figure out how to pay these players. They got to figure out how to make all this work. If they want to call it, whatever they want to call it, it doesn't matter. To me, I would take the money, and I would say I've got absolutely no problem with it.
Sounds like a $30 to $50 million deal, potentially. That's according to Brett McMurphy. It sounds like Allstate is the company that they're in discussions with. And it sounds like the official name would be something like the Allstate 12 Conference or the Big Allstate Conference. I don't care. It'll be the Big 12.
It'll be the Big
It's going
12.
to be the Big 12.
And the branding will be there, and that is important to these companies. But like outside of official Chiefs stuff, we don't call it GEHA Field. We call it Arrowhead. We don't call it the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl. We call it the Fiesta Bowl. Yep. It's where like some of these great marketing, like the Pop-Tart Bowl, that's a great one, right? Because now you're saying it as like that has sticking power. But of the big time brands and all this, it's the Sugar Bowl.
Yeah,
it's
the Rose Bowl is always going to be the Rose Bowl.
It has a presenting sponsor, I'm sure, and there's a reason it does, and that's important. And they'll get all the branding, and every time you see it, you'll see it one way, and every time it's officially listed, you'll see it. But in the chatter in the daily lexicon, take it, because we're all just going to call it the Big 12. We called it the Big 12 when there weren't 12 teams in it.
You and I are going to talk Big 12 all the time on this program. You're not going to hear either one of us call it the Big All-State Conference. Every time we reference it. I mean, maybe someday.
Maybe over time.
But here's the thing is that I'm sure that if this goes through, and it's probably already happening, you've got traditionalists that are like gnashing their teeth, over this entire thing. It's like, well, just call it what you want to call it then.
What difference does it
doesn't
make?
matter. And if you're allowing the schools then to be able to make that money so you can stay competitive in this world of conference realignment, then go for it.
Bring it
on. Take that money, and everybody in their day-to-day conversation will call it the Big 12. I would be interested to know, in a media context, like on ESPN, for example, and they're doing a recap of whatever game, they calling it, so in K-State's first in the Big All-State Conference, like
graphically speaking, yes.
But how are they calling it the Big 12?
Probably depends on if they have a specific partnership.
Exactly. So that's going to be the interesting
in the
thing
broadcast of a
out.
Game itself, not necessarily on like highlight shows, but in a broadcast of a game, yes, you would see it that way. And that's something you would just get used to. Just like every time Mitch Holthus is on the call, it's GEHA Field at Arrowhead Stadium. You know what I mean? And that doesn't bother me at all. None of it bothers me. Here's the other thing I would take away from it. Brett Yormark is on top of things, because here everyone can make fun of this all they want. The second they do this, and they will, everyone else will do it also. So you can be in the SEC and you can make all the jokes you want.
You think so? Because
yes,
I understand the money aspect.
You
of
think
it,
anyone's walking away from $50 million?
Well, what I'm saying is that a guy like Greg Sankey has always been like Mr. Legacy and tradition, and it just means more, and all of that. And maybe eventually money wins out over all of that. I would imagine that they would be the last one to go.
Maybe it's the SEC conference presented by Nationwide. I mean, whatever it is, it's going to tie in. I mean, there's no way they'll walk. If these other leagues see the Big 12 get 30 to 50 mil out of this, they're not going to just sit there and be like, oh, good for them.
Yep.
No, they're going to attack this the same way. And if they don't, that's even better for the Big 12, because it evens the playing field.
And you contrast this, if it goes through, with Brett Yormark, to not that long ago, and we brought it up before on this program, Bob Bowlesby going in front of lawmakers saying that the Big 12 was going to fall apart and that they had no money. And with the loss of Oklahoma and Texas, there was nothing that they could do, and it was a disaster. And credit to Brett Yormark for bringing them back up and for finding new ways for revenue streams and to monetize that conference.
As a Big 12 fan, I hope the other conferences hold their nose up in the air at that, because that means they won't do it, and that just levels that playing field out to the Big 12. It'd be awesome.
It's the same
But they
conference,
won't.
by
They'll
the way,
do it. They'll do it.
that presented the champion of the Big 12 football game with a WWE belt,
There you go.
right? Because of a partnership with the WWE. Yeah.
There you go. It's all there. Playing chess, not checkers. That's all that matters. Staying relevant, staying in them with it. Hey, look, our leader right there. Yes, still leader, I think. We got 2 players, Crick and Bird, at 10 under. They just walked from 18 back over
All
to
right.
1. They were just waving at us to give them a shout out. We did. That's some good golf, Tommy. So far, so good for Crick, who's following it up.
Going to be a great weekend.
2 under through his first 9. Maybe, we've said all the time, it takes 4 good scores at this tournament to get it done. Not just one, not just.
Superior Plumbing is here to help. Our parts department stocks only genuine top quality parts for repairs that last. Brands like
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With more than 25 flavors, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day for half-price cups of tea. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy. We have more than 25 flavors. Come try them all for free.
space available to us. It is round 2. That's it for our coverage of it. But it does, of course, continue through the weekend. Get out here, check it out. Hopefully you've had a chance to win some tickets from us. If not, come enjoy the golf, come enjoy the party, no matter what it is. Tommy, good stuff this
Been
week.
fun.
Zeb, thanks for the cool setup. He's off to our side. Thanks to Max and Jad and Tony for helping as well. It takes an army on these deals, and I think it went pretty well. Thank you for watching and listening to us. We'll be back Monday. We'll have more on this tournament and more. Don't go anywhere. Sports Daily will be back with you in a few days.
Odyssey Sports Station. This is 97.5 and 1240 KFH. KNF.